Fifine has a number of options out there for dynamic microphones, and while they all look different, do they actually sound different? In this video, we are going to do a sound comparison between these four dynamic microphones. So we're going to see what kind of sound quality you can expect at the price points that these different microphones are coming in. But you're probably wondering why I'm hand holding a Shure SM7B. Well, this is just kind of a baseline to see what a good high dollar microphone sounds like. Again, this is probably one of the most popular microphones that you see, especially for podcasting and YouTube videos, is this Shure SM7B. But the downside is it's about $400 brand new. Now, I was lucky enough to find this used for about $200, so that's the only reason I have it. But I wanted to show you kind of what a good sounding microphone sounds like with a good build quality and sound quality, which we're going to have to compromise some things on the Fifine microphones. You can't have it all at the price point they're coming in at. And I'm hand holding this because we're going to see the noise rejection on those microphones as well. And as you know, with the Shure SM7B, there is no handling noise whatsoever, which is why I love using this microphone. So I'm moving it all around and just hand holding this microphone, which is really not meant to be a handheld, but you can do it. And there is no handling noise whatsoever. So let's go ahead and bring in the Fifine microphones. We're going to start with their cheapest and go up to their most expensive. But again, these are all still coming in under $100. So first up is the K669D dynamic microphone. This is their cheapest one that is in the dynamic range and probably one of their cheapest microphones overall. But this is the K669D, and what it sounds like, I'm going to have all these going into the Rodecaster Pro 2, but on the generic dynamic microphone setting with no processing, so you get the raw sound of all these different microphones and what they sound like compared to each other. Yeah, you can add some EQ to these to make them sound a little bit better, but they're going to sound different on everybody's voice. So this is just going to be the natural sound of all these microphones, so you get a baseline on kind of how they compare to each other without any processing. So with the 669D dynamic microphone, it's coming in just under $50, and that's basically what you get. Is you get a dynamic microphone and that's it. There's no USB capability, so you do have to have an audio interface to use this one since it is XLR only, and it doesn't come with any cables or anything. It comes with a stand, a little tabletop stand that's pretty much worthless, so I wouldn't recommend using that, but it does come with a thread adapter and everything. So this is a typical microphone that you would get for about $50. It is, relatively built well. It is kind of like thin metal build, and it has a metal grate covering the capsule as well. So you do get a little bit of a pop filter or windscreen that's kind of built in. It does not come with an external one. So this is kind of what it looks like. And you're going to hear, as I move it around, kind of the handling noise with this microphone. So all these other ones do pick up some handling noise, some more than others. So this is a K669D coming in a little bit less than $50. They do make a condenser version, the 669C. And if you want to do a comparison between those two, I do have a video that I'll link above here for those as well. But again, the K669D. So jumping up about $5 in price, coming in around $55 or so, depending on where you find it, we have the AM8. This is a newer release from Fifine. It is a XLR and USB capable, so you can just connect this to the computer using the USB functionality, and then that will allow you to use the onboard controls with this thing. And then when you are running it through your computer, it does have RGB lighting down here at the bottom that lights up to kind of add a little bit of visual to the microphone. But then your headphones can plug into the back of here. It has an onboard mute button, and then on the other side, the bottom side here, it does have your control knobs for the gain in the microphone, and then your headphones as well for when you're monitoring. So they do come in white and black. I think they're starting to come out with different colors in several of their microphones now, which is pretty cool. I do like having the option of a white microphone just to mix it up a little bit. So this is the AM8. And then this is the K669D. So which one of these sound better? Does it sound about $5 better? And then you do get some more features with this one. You do get the USB capability and all that jazz, and it comes in two different colors. And then this one does come with this stand here. I mean, I can't put it down because it's kind of pointless. I would have to either yell louder or raise my gain, but then raising your gain, you're going to bring in more noise. So it's kind of cool that it comes with a tabletop stand, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. It's not really practical. I kind of need it to be up here to actually use it, but you can mount this to any boom arm or an actual larger microphone stand if you need to, like this one over here. And it does have a pop filter that is removable. So you can see when we take that off, this is what it looks like. The capsule is right under the middle grill here. So Peter Piper pitched a podcast. That's without it. And then we'll throw that pop filter back on there. Peter Piper pitched a podcast. Peter Piper pitched a podcast. So the windscreen on here, the pop filter does help with some of those plosives. But again, as I'm hand holding this, I can pick up definitely some handling noise in this microphone. Again, once you have it set down or mounted to something, that should go away. But do keep that in mind. This one does pick up a little bit of handling noise. But then moving back over to the K669D, again, Peter Piper pitched a podcast. Peter Piper pitched a podcast. Not too bad on the plosives. There's no separate pop filter. You just have the built-in one right here. So this is basically what you get. You could probably fit another one on top for some other microphones, but again, then you lose kind of the visual quality of this microphone. So this is the K669D. And then we are back on the AM8. So which one sounds better? I think I like this one a little bit better, especially since you get a different color option. And I just like the yoke that this comes with. You'll see some of the other ones that do as well. I just like the way those mount to boom arms, other than this right here where it just kind of has this kind of arm just coming out or whatever. So I like the yokes on these and stuff. And this one does feel a little bit lighter in weight, surprisingly, even though this one is all metal. This one feels like it's mostly metal, but it is lighter weight. The body might actually be plastic. Kind of hard to tell. It does feel kind of plasticky, but the yoke here is actually metal. So, I mean, for $55, getting an XLR USB capable microphone is pretty awesome. That is a great price for something like this. And then, if you don't have an audio interface initially and then you want to upgrade and get one, you can and still use this microphone. So you don't have to upgrade to a different microphone. You can use it. You can basically buy this and upgrade with it. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next microphone. And the next microphone up is the K688. This is probably the microphone from Fifine that I've had the longest and have gotten used the most, but I've kind of leaned away from it just because it does have a little bit different sound. And I do like the looks of it. It does look more of a kind of a podcast type of microphone. It does have another external pop filter that you could take on and off, and it does, unlike the other ones, have an external shock mount as well that kind of helps with some of the handling noise. So we'll check the plosives first. Peter Piper pitched a podcast. Peter Piper pitched a podcast, and we'll just take that off. And again, you can see the metal grill around the capsule. It's pretty close, so there's not a lot of distance between the metal grill and the capsule on any of these microphones. But without the pop filter, Peter Piper pitched a podcast. Peter Piper pitched a podcast. So it does help a little bit. This one I think has kind of a unique sound, at least in my headphones anyway. It sounds a little bit bassier, maybe a little bit more darker than some of those other ones that we've tried so far. But let me know what you guys think. Again, this is the K688. This one comes in about $72.99 or so listed on their website. They do run sales on these, and I believe they're doing these in white now. So this has been a great one. This is XLR and USB as well. You actually have the controls on the back of the microphone on this one, whereas in the AM8, they are on the side of the microphone right here. So a little bit different placement, but it's still nice to be able to have that functionality of USB or XLR, depending on your situation. And with that shock mount, we'll go ahead and move it around a bit, and you can kind of hear obviously some handling noise with this as well. But again, this is a little bit more expensive than those two, coming in about $73. So this is the K688, and then this is the AM8, just for reference. So we have the AM8 and then the K688. Which one sounds better to me? I almost like the K688 better, just in my headphones here. Again, K688. And then we'll go back to the AM8 right here. And again, I am hand holding this one so you can see or hear any of the handling noise with that one. And then we'll go directly back to the K669D. So K669D and K688. So K688, 669D. It is really hard to keep all these names and numbers straight. All right, and to bring in the fourth and final microphone that we're going to be taking a listen to is the Tank 3. This one I've had for a while, and I have a dedicated video on this, so we'll go ahead and switch over to that one. All right, so this is the Tank 3, and I'm actually going to raise the gain a little bit on this one. It needs to be raised just a bit on that one. So this is the Tank 3. This is, in my opinion, kind of an updated version of the K688. This one has been out the longest, and then they came out with the Tank 3 and not too long ago. I think I've had it for a while, but honestly, I think it is kind of like an upgraded K688 where you have the internal pop filter here, you have the internal shock mount. So, and it is still USB and XLR capable. The controls or the plugins are on the bottom, and then you have the control knobs right here. And then obviously your mute button would be right here, but there is no external pop filter that you can take on and off. It's all built into this metal grate, and almost kind of looks like the K669 over there, just a little bit bigger, since you do have that functionality with USB and the control knobs. Add a little bit to that, but pretty similar in looks to the K669. But this is the raw sound of the Tank 3. And then we're going to go back to the K688 just so you can get a difference between these two. So this is a K688. And then this is the Tank 3. There is a sound difference between the two. I can't decide on which one I like better. We'll try the plosives on the Tank 3. Peter Piper pitched a podcast. Peter Piper pitched a podcast. So those are plosives that you're going to get out of here. Not too bad without having an external pop filter. The internal one does fairly good. And then you can kind of hear definitely some handling noise from this one as I'm messing up all the cords. So I'm messing with the cord down there and seeing if it's picking it up. It is in my headphone. So just kind of moving that around. So that's kind of the handling noise that you can expect with all of the Fifine microphones. You do get some. And one thing I like about Fifine is they do admit, hey, you know, we're going to try and give you the best sounding microphone that we can, but we're going to have to make some compromises somewhere. So they do that in the build quality, and they admit to that. But in order to get the best sound at the price point they're coming into, you do have to make some compromises. So this is the Tank 3, and then this is back on the K688. So the K688 and the Tank 3, and we are back on the Tank 3. And now we are on the AM8. So this is the AM8. So we're going back on the Tank 3. So we're going to go ahead and bring in the cheapest microphone, but also looks pretty similar to this one right here. And that is the K669D. So this is the most affordable, but only XLR. So if you need that USB function, unfortunately, this microphone will not work for you. And this is back on the K669D. Again, this is XLR only, so with the lower price point, but you are getting a lot less features than some of these other microphones. But if you don't have an interface, but want a cheaper microphone like this, Fifine does have an audio interface that they make that I've done a full review on. It's not the best. It obviously doesn't compare to the Rodecaster Pro 2 or some of the other higher dollar ones out there, but if you just need to take an XLR microphone and plug it in your computer and monitor the sound and everything, that will work perfect. There's no onboard EQs or anything like that. It's literally just putting a XLR into your computer, and that's it. So if that's all you need, that would be a great setup, especially if you're doing a one-person podcast. You know, $100 for a microphone and the interface itself, you really can't beat that at all. Again, here is the Tank 3. So kind of hearing what the differences are. This one, again, the Tank 3 coming in around $80 or so, just depending on the sale. Right now they have it on sale on their website for $80.99. So the Tank 3 is about $30 more than the other one right there, but again, it does have I think a little bit better with the handling noise and the pop filter, but also has that capability for the USB function. All right, so we'll do one last sound test here. So again, this is the Tank 3. Moving on down to the K688. So the K688 and then the Tank 3. So this is Tank 3 versus the K688, and then we'll go ahead and bring in the AM8. I think that's what this one is. Yeah, the AM8. So this is the AM8 against the Tank 3. So I am now on the Tank 3, so you can hear what this sounds like. Again, a great microphone, and we are back on the K669D, the cheapest one here. So let me know which one sounds better. Again, no processing or anything like that. You're getting the raw sound of these. So again, depending on how bassy your voice is, they may sound a little bit different, or if you have the higher frequencies, again, might sound different. So this is the K669D, and we are in the AM8. This is the AM8. And then again, the K669D, to me in my headphones, this one sounds the quietest and definitely the bassiest, but when it comes to the recording, it might sound a little bit different. I don't know, but my headphones, this one definitely sounds the bassiest and the quietest. And then we are back on the Tank 3. So which one do you think sounds better? I don't know. Leave it up to you. Again, no processing was done. I think on the Tank 3, I did have the raise the gain the most. So we're running about 49 decibels a gain on the Tank 3 and about 45 to 47 on the rest. So not a huge gain difference. But if you do get the audio interface from Fifine, it will work with all of these microphones. It definitely has enough gain to work with these. But unfortunately, if you have a kind of a gain hungry microphone, similar like even the pod mic and definitely the Shure SM7B, those require too much gain that they're going to be too quiet on that audio interface from Fifine. But any of the microphone lineups here will work with that interface if you're interested. So something crazy right now is this is all of them on at the same time. So you are listening to me from all 4 of these microphones. I'm not sure how that's going to sound, but I don't know why you would need that, but there you go. And to wrap this up, I'm going to finish this video on the Shure SM7B so you can see what the SM7B sounds like compared to these other microphones. Again, they're really not comparable because this is a $400 microphone. You get the great build quality, the great sound quality. It is XLR only, but really it sounds great. But again, it's $400 brand new. Sometimes you can find it for less used, which if you can, I would definitely go that route because people tend to take care of expensive microphones. Imagine that. But when you want all of that stuff, the build quality, the sound quality and everything, you know, you got to pay for that. So again, this is the handling noise compared to those other microphones that we had. Definitely the quietest out of the whole bunch. I will definitely have the links to everything used in this video down below, so check that out. And if you're looking for more information on any of the Fifine products or some of these microphones that we use in this video, check out these dedicated videos right here where we take a deeper dive into each one.